Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And today I wanted to show you how to make a really fun pop-up card. It's actually kind of quick and easy to make this. They always look so complicated and you think you can't do it, but they are a wow. When anybody who gets your cards opens this up and sees the pop-up, they are always just wowed by it. So I just want to show you how you can make one of these cards and that they're really not that difficult to make. If it's the first time you've joined me on YouTube, welcome. And if it's not, then you're coming back for a second time, welcome back. I'm glad you've joined me. Please take the time to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you get notified when I do my video tutorials or when I go live on YouTube. I'd love to have you join me. All right, let's get started. I'm going to be using the Stampin' Up! Whimsy and Wonder suite for this card. So I just love this suite. This was my absolute favorite, my definite must-have when I saw it in the catalog. So this is the front of the card that I've decorated with the designer series paper and then some of the die cuts, and I'll show you how to do those. These great, wonderful snowflakes that they come 24 to a package. And then when you open it up, you get this very adorable pop-up with a tree and a couple of the Christmas presents that I have cut out of so you can see that it pops up like that. So I've cut these out of the designer series paper. All right, let's get started. It's really not that hard to make. Here's the suite that I'm using. So this is the Whimsy and Wonder bundle. So the whimsical tree dies, and then all of the different dies that you have for cutting all these trees. This is the one we're going to use today. Okay, so that's the suite. Now here's my supplies. If you miss any of these as I'm going through, just leave a comment, or you can click over to my blog. Because all of the written instructions and measurements for this card will be on my blog. So if you miss any, they'll be there. If you have any questions as I'm going along, you can leave a comment on either this video or on my blog, and I'm happy to answer them. Okay, to start with, this is a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock that is cut 4 1/4 by 11. We are going to score this at 5 1/2. I just find scoring my card base just gives it a much nicer crease than if I just try to fold it in half. And then when you do fold, so this is the side I've scored on, it's got the little valley, and on the other side's a little raised or mountain. And if you fold into the mountain, it just gives it a nicer fold. So take my bone folder and give that a really nice crease. Okay. So now I've got a piece of polished pink, not that one, 2 pieces of polished pink. I've got a piece of polished pink that is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4, and a piece of designer series paper. Oops, the wrong one. Piece of designer series paper. I've got multiple pieces going on here that is cut. Let's see, this was 4 inches. What did I cut this one? I think this was cut, yeah, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So you're just going to get a pop of that polished pink behind it. So I'm going to just adhere that down. Use whatever your favorite adhesive is. Mine these days seems to be the multi-purpose liquid glue. Gives me just a little bit of wiggle room to move things around. Okay, there we go. And then this can adhere to the card base. Get that into position. There we go. Okay, so that's the start of the front of the card. Now we need to cut some trees. So I've got a piece of basic white and a piece of polished pink, and we are going to use this tree. Now, this tree will actually cut out these pieces, so you will end up with a tree. So you can see my polished pink where it's got openings in it. So the die cuts like that. So for the polished pink, I want 2 of those because I'm going to do one on the inside and one on the outside. But I need one of these for in basic white, and I will show you a trick with this. So you can actually take these pieces and adhere them back in. They go in quite easily. You just kind of have to, they will all cut out, so you just have to find the right piece and put it in. But if you don't want those pieces to all come out, you can lay your die on, and on the back side, take some tear and tape adhesive and just run a strip of tear and tape adhesive up. So if you're thinking about how long it needs to be, you just need to make sure it covers the where this would cut out. So I've just laid it. It's kind of from about here to here on the die. So that's on the back side. So then you can just take and cut this out. Now I'm just going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Hopefully it doesn't shake the table too much when I do this. So that's that. We'll lay this down. Again, trying to make sure that the tear and tape adhesive is underneath those sections where the openings will cut. Just makes it easier so they don't all come out and they're adhered to the card. All right, so you can see when I pull this off, the tear and tape adhesive is still stuck to the back, and the whole piece, when I pull it off of the die, will come out. Hopefully, she says. Oh, I didn't do that. Cut right through. Okay, well, let's try this. Well, wait a minute. We'll let's get some room here and see what's going on. So I'm just going to take and try and gently pull this apart so that it doesn't all come out. It's fine. I'll get this off so I can. Okay. So now I'm going to just gently pull it off together so that it cut right through that. I'm not sure why that did that, but in the past it hasn't done that. All right, so now you're going to see me do this as I would have to. So I'm going to take and put all of these pieces back in as they come out. So you can see they do fit in nicely. Maybe your attempt at the tear and tape adhesive will actually work. I know it worked the last time I did this, so yeah, certainly every time I try to do something on camera, it doesn't. Okay, so now I've got, oopsie, this little piece, one last little piece like that. So we'll just leave that like that. And now I need to cut out 2 more of these trees in polished pink. These ones I do want just to cut out with the pieces all cut out because I'm gonna have the white showing through. Okay, so there's one. Of course, that one. They all stay in. Not always the way. Okay. And this one's for the inside of the card. And my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've got that die cut. Now this is the card. So these great, wonderful snowflakes, as I said, they come in 24 to a package. So you can just peel it out. There are 2 sides. One side has this, I'm not sure you can see it on camera, but it's kind of a iridescent shine to it. And the other side is great if you want to color. Now I'm going to use the iridescent, and I'm just going to put a glue dot right on the center. And we'll just put it like that. Now, I'm going to take and adhere this down. Now, I lost the middle part, but what I'm going to do is take the middle part, put it back in, and then, oopsie. I know what I did last time. Okay, here's a different trick. Don't put your tear and tape adhesive on until you cut it out. Let me do this again. I'm going to just take another piece and I'm going to, I'll show you this. Sorry, I did it wrong. Okay, so you're going to go and cut this out. And so let me just take, I'll do this off camera. Okay, I have to kind of think about how I did this in the past. All right, I'm just going to cut out another tree. And I'll pull this. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cut out the tree. And while it's still on the die, this is the trick. Put your tear and tape adhesive over. That way it won't cut through. That's what happened when I cut it, is the Stampin' Cut machine cut all through my layers. So now I've got this adhered down. Now take it out of the die and you will get it coming out in one solid piece. There we go. That's the trick to doing this. If you want it to cut out in one solid piece. Okay, so now we can take and use dimensionals on the back of this. Again, I'm just going to put them where it'll keep some of the spots that didn't have tear and tape adhesive on them. Like that. Okay. We will put that tree in the middle like this. And now I need the tree, the pink. This is the polished pink tree. Just love these non-traditional colors. So this is going to go over top, and I want to pop this up. So I'm going to use the mini Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm just going to put them, oops, right where there's in these big spots so they won't show. And down here, one more. Take the backings off. Okay. And then we'll just put this right over top of the white tree so we get the white showing behind it. Okay. Now the second last step for the front of the card before we start on the pop-up is to stamp a sentiment, and I'm going to stamp this one that says, "May the love of the season warm your heart, warm your home and fill your heart." And I'm going to stamp this using polished pink. So you could, I'm just going to fussy cut this out with my paper snips, but you could absolutely use a die or a punch for this. I like to fussy cut. Not sure how that got started, but it seems to have carried on. All right, so we'll just do that. And I'm going to put this using dimensionals. I always like to have layers. Now, the only thing about this card is if you're going to mail it, at least in Canada, depending on the thickness, it may have to go for oversized letter as opposed to letter rates. You do have to be a little careful with all of your thicknesses. Now, I'm going to wait. I'm going to put rhinestones on my tree, but let's do the inside of the card first. So for the inside of your card, You want a piece of basic white cardstock that is cut, and I'm just making sure I've cut this. So 4 inches by, let's see, this is 11, so I need this to be 10 and a half. All right, and I'm going to score this at 5 1/4. Score it. Okay, so that's the inside of my card. Now, where is my card? And I will show you. So in order to get this to pop up, you're going to cut, and this is an inch, I think it's an inch and a half. Just trying to get, ooh, sorry about that. Just trying to get my ruler here, just so I tell you the right measurements. So this is, oh no, an inch and a quarter. So, and it's an inch from either side. So what we want to do is we're going to put this, the right-hand side of your card, at the inch mark. So there is an inch marker on the right-hand side of your trimmer blade. So line that up with that. And you're going to bring your cutting blade down. So if this is 5 1/4, so I want to cut from 4 inches. Oops, let's get that lined up. 4 inches, 4 inches to 5 1/4 to 6 1/2. So you're going to cut from 4 inches to 6 1/2, and it's 1 inch from the right-hand side. And then you're going to turn it over, flip it around, and repeat that again, cutting from 4 inches to 6 1/2 on 1 inch from the side. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, so I've cut, now I've got these 2 slits, 1 inch from either side, and 1 1/4 inch above the score line and 1 1/4 inch below the score line. So this is now the piece that's going to pop out, and these pieces are going to pop in. So I'm just going to try and, oh, and I'm missing score lines. Huh. There we go. No wonder that's not quite working. Okay, so I forgot to score. So you're actually going to score between the 1 inch mark on either side. So you're going to put that is at, we're going to line that up so that it is at, let's see, what do I want this to be? So this is at 4 inches, and we're going to then score from between those 2 cut lines. And you're going to do the same, just flip it around and mark, that's lined up at the 4 inch, and then score between the 2 cut lines. So it's actually from 1 inch to 3 inch. That makes it fold much nicer. Okay, so now this piece will fold like this, and this piece. So when you fold it in half, you end up with this piece that is sticking up like a little chair. And you, when it's folded in half, you've got this U-shaped cut in it. So this now will go in to your card base, just like that. So we're going to just adhere this down. So you're going to get some glue up on those. So I'm going to do just one side down to start with. And you want to line up this, the score with the score of your card base, like that. And now I can put some adhesive, that. And I'm just going to fold this over top. And now I've got my pop-up. You see that? There we go. So again, this is this is cut 2 slits from 4 inches to 6.5, 1 inch from either side, and then score. So cut these and then score between the cut lines. Okay, so now it's just a matter of decorating. So I'm going to take this one tree that I did, and I'm going to just adhere it. I'm not going to use, actually I'm going to use glue dots. I think the glue dots will hold this. So I only want to adhere it to the bottom. So I'm just going to put glue dots on the bottom layers. Let's see, where's another one? Because I don't want this to be completely adhered to the inside of the card. I want this tree to pop up as well. All right, so I'm going to put the tree here like this. So it's going to pop up. And then I've got some of this is the back side of what I used on the front of the card. And I'm just going to take my paper snips and cut out a couple of presents from this designer series paper. Makes it so easy to add a couple of little presents around the bottom of my tree. We'll do that one, and then I want something pink, so we'll do this one. All right, quick and easy to cut these out, and they're all rectangles and squares. Okay, so we'll put that down just with a glue dot, like that. Again, I'm making sure they're only adhered to the bottom part of my pop out. And then I'm going to use a dimensional on this one, just so it pops up a little bit. That. All right, so now when the card opens, I get my Christmas trees, my Christmas tree and my presents that pop up. That fun card. Anybody who gets this will just, I know, go, wow, how did you do that? At least anybody who gets it from me will they always say that. Okay, now I want to stamp joy. I was just going to put this little joy stamp in the center and polished pink. I'm just going to test it on here. There we go. Pretty inside of the card. Right, so that's the pop-up card. Hopefully you understood that, and you can go back in the video. If you do have questions as you're going through this, looking at the video, and you're not sure what I did, just add a comment, or if you're on my blog, add a comment to my blog, and I will happily answer your questions. Okay, so thanks very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll check my my YouTube channel out if you haven't already. Please subscribe, and then you'll get notified when I do upcoming videos. Thanks everybody for joining me. Happy stamping. Bye.